Week 2, obviously another great challenge for us this year in the SEC. Maybe as strong as it's been in a long, long time. With so many teams ranked, and Tennessee is one of those. I expect our pitching challenges in terms of what we're facing this weekend to be like last week. Tennessee's ERA is extremely low, a lot of power arms, so will be a similar type challenge to what we had last week. So we're going to have to be ready and prepared.
Raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. We'll start with Tom.
I guess, do you have a plan of how you're going to attack your starting rotation this week, and then what did you see at TJ Sunday?
We'll approach it same as last week. We'll go Sweat, Morgan, and TBA. And what was I'm sorry.
Just with TJ Shook, what did you see at him that could potentially keep him in that Sunday?
Yeah, I mean he did well last week, so he'll be an option as well. But we'll go into it with the same format as last week.
Great.
Talk about facing power arms again. What have you done in the past week to kind of adjust to that, or if anything?
Well, I'll refer back to challenging them with the machines like we do. We went through this last year where the guys had to start to ramp it up, and we'll do the same thing this year. We'll get them challenged on those machines, and if you're going to hit 95 in a game, you're going to have to prepare for that in practice. So that'll be a big part of what we're doing right now.
Mark, how comfortable are you, after last year starting 1-5 in the SEC, that maybe an 0-3 SEC start here in year 2 for you isn't that big of a deal? You've seen this team bounce back before.
Well, we're not going to panic. We hate to lose. Obviously, we hate to lose one game, no less 3, like we did this past weekend in heartbreaking fashion. But we won't panic. We've got 30 games in the SEC. Sometimes you lose them early and win late. Sometimes you win early and lose late. At the end of the day, you have to treat it as a marathon. And we have 3 games down, 27 to go. So just going to try to win as many of them as we can. That's our approach.
How close are Noah and Sawyer to being 100%? And I guess, can you update us on Carmen and Ridge as well?
Yeah. You're getting like Whittle now, asking all these questions. I can't keep track of all that. So Noah is probably, in terms of hitting, I think he's 100%. In terms of playing defense, he's not there yet. So you'll probably see similar to what you saw last night. Sawyer, it's just a weird thing with him. Some days his arm feels good, sometimes it doesn't. He's healthy for the most part, but it's just sometimes there's life in the arm and sometimes there's not. So we've got to try to continue to figure out which days and how to use them. Last night his arm looked a little more fresh and had a little more velocity than he did on the weekend. So just have to continue to monitor that. And then Ridge, we're hopeful that we'll get him back at some point, and probably no sooner than 4 weeks if we do. And Carmen was the other one. Carmen is probably in that 4 to 5 week range. He's healing very well at this point, pretty quickly, and he's keeping his arm in shape. So we're hopeful that about 5 weeks he'll be back as well.
You mentioned Tennessee's pitching. What do you see from their lineup?
They've gotten better from last year. They've got some power. They've got a guy with 7 home runs. They have speed. They're athletic, and they're very scrappy. But they also have some guys that can drive the ball. So it's a pretty deep lineup. It's a much better team than what they had last year. They're all a year older. They've added some nice pieces, and guys have gotten better. So it's a complete team. And again, it's the SEC now, and it's probably the best the SEC has been in a long time. So every team is a major challenge.
Dylan mentioned last night that he worked a slider kind of into his rotation. Just how have you seen that develop and his confidence grow with that pitch in his arsenal?
Yeah, I think that's helping him for sure. And one, it's becoming a better pitch, but he's also throwing it for strikes, and that makes the fastball better. He'd gotten to the point where all he was throwing for strikes was the fastball, and teams were able to figure that out and start to sit on it. When we have a secondary pitch that they have to respect, then the fastball plays up. So I think his ability now to throw that slider as a legitimate pitch has really helped get guys off his fastball, and so I think that's a big part of his development.
Anything else?
All right, thank you.